Hey there, Carrie Fox with the Mission Forward podcast, and I am so glad you're here today. You probably know by now that I write a weekly column on communications and life in addition to hosting this podcast. And on this season, I am lifting up a few of those essays here as short form episodes of the show. If you like what you hear, you can head over to mission.partners and sign up to get these insights delivered straight to your inbox each and every Wednesday morning. But now, onto this week's column, Land the Plane. My dear friend and mentor, Don Foley, spent a good part of his career in the airline industry. Having served most notably as a vice president of worldwide corporate communications for Northwest Airlines, he knows a thing or two about how airplanes work. And he certainly knows how critical the first few minutes and the last few minutes of any flight really are. As Don likes to say, the takeoff and the landing are critical to success. Everything in between is coasting. Don would use this wonderful analogy of an airplane taking off and landing in every one of the hundreds of media trainings that we did together, starting first when I was a junior associate at his firm, and then later when he joined my company as a partner in our business, and even to this day as we continue to collaborate on media trainings together. The takeoff and the landing. It matters in the sky, and it matters in our speech. I lean on Don's words, and Don, often, as I did this past week while guiding a few of my colleagues in the lead up to a big Thunder pitch. During their practice run, it became clear that the team had invested so much time and effort in preparing for this 60-minute presentation. Their slide deck was insightful and beautifully designed, with information on every program and every pillar of their strategy. But when their practice run ended, one critical element was missing. They had spent so much time building the middle of the presentation, they had forgotten to land the plane. I couldn't figure out which of the many points they made were the most important point, and I wasn't quite clear where they wanted me to go next. So we took a step back, and we mapped out together what the most important points of the presentation needed to be. The team landed on 3 clear points and saw how they could 1, take off more effectively with those key points, 2, reference them again as section headers throughout the middle of the presentation, and 3, call on them once more to summarize their content, make their ask, and more effectively land their plane. A small change with a really big impact. That small change helped my colleagues focus on their most important messages, and it can help you too. So the next time you're preparing to deliver a presentation, a pitch, or a big idea, be sure to practice your opening and your closing in advance, so you don't leave your audiences confused in midair. Bottom line, whether you like it or not, much of what we say in the middle of our presentations may be lost on our audience's ears. When we orient around the takeoff and the landing, as Don says, we can start to see how important the opening and the closing of our presentation is to what our audiences hear, what they remember, and ultimately what our audiences do with the information we've shared. It comes down to how well you land the plane. And that brings us to the end of this short form episode of Mission Forward. If you heard something that's going to stick with you, drop me a line at carrie@mission.partners. And let me know what's got you thinking. And definitely check out some of our longer form shows on the power of communications. Mission Forward is produced with the support of Sadie Lockhart in association with True Story FM. Engineering by Pete Wright. If your podcast app allows for ratings and reviews, I hope you will consider doing just that for this show. But the best thing you can do to support Mission Forward is simply to share the show with a friend or a colleague. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you next time.